good evening. Thanks for joining us here on Mirror Now. I am Afrida Rahman Ali. In our top story at this hour, the debate over pension in MLAs in Haryana has intensified. And according to reports, Haryana government spends nearly 30 crore rupees annually in giving pensions to MLAs, not just single pensions, but multiple pensions for those MLAs who have got multiple terms. The highest amount is 2.38 lakh rupees per month, which is paid to a six-time legislator, Captain Ajay Singh Yadav. So in the neighbouring state of Punjab, the newly formed AAP government last month scrapped pension for multiple terms of legislators and implemented one MLA, one pension rule, which has now reignited this debate on whether that is something which other states should be adopting as well. So while the Punjab government has decided to use the public money not to use the public money for the cause of funding pensions, other states are yet to follow that rule. On the other hand, the former MLA Nirmal Singh of Haryana has decided to surrender his pension after this debate came to light. So my colleague Gurpreet has spoken to the ministers in the Haryana cabinet, and many of them even justify the multiple pensions. According to information furnished by the Haryana Vidhan Sabha Secretariat, in response to an RTI application filed by an activist, the government gives precisely 29.5 crore rupees in pension annually to 275 former MLAs and also to the families of those MLAs who have passed away. 128 of them still get multiple pensions. So around 26.4 crore on pensions and 3 crore additionally on pensions to families of ex-legislators. That is how it works out. So let's welcome our guest this evening. Joining us here on the program is Major General Anil Verma, head of ADR. Also joining us, Sanket Gupta, BJP spokesperson, Akshay Marathe, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Before I go across to my panel, very good evening to all of you. Thanks for joining us. Let's listen in to what the ministers in the Khattar government in Haryana has to say about why they feel it's justified to use public money for funding pensions.
1.5 लाख करोड़ रुपए के बजट में सारा पेंशन का मुद्दा ही 20-30 करोड़ रुपए का है सालाना, मतलब कोई परसेंटेज भी नहीं है। ये मुद्दे बनाए जा रहे हैं, इससे जनता को कोई ना फर्क पड़ना है, ना भला होना है, ना बुरा होना है। इन मुद्दों से राजनीति के जो नहीं चलनी, दिखावे के लिए अब केजरीवाल जी पहले तो करते थे कि मैं मारुति नीले रंग की मैं रहता हूँ, मैं घर भी नहीं लूँगा। अब तो हेलीकॉप्टर में चलते हैं। कल परसों में देख रहा था कि वो इसमें गए हिमाचल प्रदेश में, पंजाब सरकार का हेलीकॉप्टर लेके गए। दिखाने के लिए कुछ और है, करने के लिए कुछ और है।
और आपको लगता है कि जो पेंशन है ठीक है बिल्कुल जी?
मेरा नहीं है कि इसको तो अब ऑप्शन पे छोड़ देना चाहिए कि जिसके पास साधन संपन्न है वो ना ले पेंशन, और जो गरीब है जिसके साधन संपन्न नहीं है वो ले ले। उचित तो मेरे हिसाब से ये है।
क्या आप फेवर में है पेंशन होनी चाहिए या नहीं होनी चाहिए?
जो आप पूछना चाह रहे हैं ना, उसका डायरेक्टली कोई जवाब मैं नहीं, मैं रिस्पॉन्सिबल आदमी हूँ। मैं कोई बात होगा तो उसे देख के करूँगा, सबकी बात करके करूँगा। ऐसे फैसले कभी हुआ ही नहीं करते। वो कर सकते हैं कि हमने 300 यूनिट फ्री कर दिया, हम 1000 यूनिट फ्री कर देंगे, ऐसा हमारे कभी भी फैसला। एक बड़ी पार्टी है, राष्ट्रीय पार्टी है, हरियाणा में कोई फैसला लेने का और स्टेटों में भी फैसले का असर पड़ता है। इसका मध्य प्रदेश में भी पड़ेगा, इसका उत्तर प्रदेश में भी पड़ेगा। पूरे देश में 80% स्टेट में हम रूल कर रहे हैं। ये डिसाइड बातें पार्टी पॉलिसी के मैटर ऊपर हुआ करती हैं।
निर्मल सिंह, जिसने केजरीवाल के जो है प्रोग्राम और उनके तौर तरीकों से जो उनका विज़न है, जो उन्होंने दिल्ली में किया है, उन सबसे प्रभावित होकर आम आदमी पार्टी ज्वाइन करी। और उसके साथ ही जो उन्होंने पंजाब में ये लागू किया है कि हर आदमी को एक पेंशन लेनी चाहिए, एक्स MLA जो हैं, और वह पैसा एजुकेशन और हेल्थ के कामों में लगाया जाएगा, जो बहुत बड़ा अमाउंट हर साल हो जाता है। उसी से प्रेरित होकर मैंने भी जो अपने 4 साल की 4 बार की मुझे पेंशन मिलती थी, उसमें से 3 बार की जो पेंशन है 3 टाइम मैंने वो सरेंडर कर दी है, और उसके लिए स्पीकर साहब को लिख दिया है।
Well, before I go across to the panel, a quick word from my colleague Gurpreet, who has brought us this story. Gurpreet, I want you to tell us about those specific instances which you were mentioning to me earlier, about how certain MLAs, despite being financially sound and affluent, are still accessing this pension, which they don't even require, and there is no stopping them. There are many. Give us those examples which you were citing, Gurpreet.
Well, yes, of course. It has become one of the major political debate in Haryana because specifically some of the family have been appointed by this RTI activist. We have seen that if we can talk about some of the beneficiary families that belong to Chotala family, because after Captain Ajay Yadav, we have seen that the highest pension is being drawn by the former Chief Minister of Haryana, Mr. O.P. Chotala. He was getting around 2.22 lakh per month. At the same time, Ajay Singh Chotala from the same Chotala family, he is getting 61,800. And what we have learned from the sources also, in the next coming days, it might be possible Abhay Singh Chotala, Dushyant Chotala, Ranjit Singh Chotala, they will be able to draw pension from the government, that the public exchequer money, taxpayer money of the common man. At the same time, the main families which are beneficiary, that is the former Chief Minister's family, Bhajan Lal, because his wife is drawing around 1,61,000 and his son, Chandar Mohan Bishnoi, he is drawing salary 1.52 lakh. At the same time, we have seen that daughter-in-law of Mr. Bhajan Lal, she is also drawing around 1 lakh pension per month. At the same time, if we can talk about the spokesperson, Mr. Randeep Surjewala, he is getting pension around 1.68 lakh, and his mother is getting around 87,975. So the people of Haryana, they are putting an accusatory finger on this law. They say that it's the taxpayer money, and why
Absolutely,
they are
Gurpreet, and we have to continue to question these kind of practices. And it's not like no one is noticing and no one is going to question it. We here on Mirror Now is going to question whether there is rightful use of public money. Gurpreet, thanks for joining us. Mr. Marathe, Akshay Marathe, first coming to you on this. You heard the Agriculture Minister, Mr. J.P. Dalal, he's saying what is wrong with it. This is an issue which is manufactured, which has been created to target the BJP, and 30 crore annually is not a big amount for a state like Haryana.
Afrida, first of all, I would like to say that this is a question of intent. Aam Aadmi Party is a party of honest people. We want to serve the country. As soon as we won the state of Punjab, Mr. Bhagwant Mann, the Chief Minister of Punjab, announced that all MLAs will get only one pension. Our party leader in Haryana, Mr. Nirmal Singh, who you just played a bite of, he's a 4-time MLA, but he has announced that he will only take one pension and renounced his other 3 pensions. Tell me something today, when an Aam Aadmi serves the government and serves for 30, 40 years, they get only one pension. But these netas today are demanding one pension for every 5-year tenure. What can justify this kind of loot? This is not just wrong, it is a criminal loot of the people of India. This money should be used for the development of the people. Today, we have a situation where in states like Haryana, the old age pension, the widow pension, the disability pension are a pittance, a few thousand rupees a month. And most people don't even get that money. In that situation, these netas want to loot the exchequer of lakhs of rupees month after month after month. I think it's really shameful.
Yes, it's not just an issue of only pensions, Mr. Marathe. It's an issue of general misuse of public funds. And therefore, your party has also been on the dock. Let's be real about this.
Let me just make one quick point.
Sure.
Let me just make one quick point. CM Khattar, whose bite you have not played today, has actually said that when we raised this issue in Haryana, he said Kejriwal ki buddhi kharab ho gayi hai. This is the kind of attitude that the netas in BJP have today, that when we talk of saving public money, they think that amounts to buddhi kharab hona. So this is the level of political discourse we have come to today, and I think it's very important the country should know this.
Yes. Mr. Sanket Gupta, please respond. You know, let's forget the party politics. Isn't this a colossal waste of public money? My colleague was just pointing out how former chief ministers, these political families, their crore-patis, they have this culture of entitlement. It's nothing else. They feel it's their birthright to draw this pension from public money, whereas you don't have funds for other important issues, for old age pension. And economic status is not a bar. What kind of a rule is this? Why isn't the BJP government in Haryana scrapping it right away?
My dear friend has said that this is the intent of Aam Aadmi Party to serve the country or to serve the people of Punjab. Why not they are doing this scheme of one MLA, one pension in Delhi? Why they are continuously increasing the salary of MLAs and continuously passing a resolution in Vidhan Sabha to increase the pension of ex-MLAs? Why not they are doing that in Delhi? And what about if they are spending 10 crore rupees on just the modification of Bangla of their senior leader, Aam Aadmi Party leader Arvind Kejriwal?
We don't want to get into a whataboutery. Let's stick to this issue. What is the problem, Mr. Gupta, in scrapping multiple pensions to begin with? There are many other issues of misuse of public money. We'll get to that. But first, tell me, how is it fair for every term that you're elected as a legislator, you deserve a pension for each term, and it amounts to some over 2 lakh rupees for one of the legislators? Isn't it a drain on public resources?
There are so many laws relating to it, and every state has a pension law according to their constituency, according to their budget. And in lot of states, the people are getting even more than this amount. But I want to say that there are a lot of other things where we can get the public money for the public. It is not only this issue. This is a very minor issue. The political drama is going on this issue by Aam Aadmi Party. And when they are not doing it in Delhi, how can they say that they are doing it in Punjab and they will not do it in Delhi? In Delhi, they are spending around 200 crores rupees in just 1 year on advertisement.
Okay.
And now 30 crores. They are saying that this 30 crores is a wastage of money. And this is our intent. We will serve the people. You are wasting 200 crore rupees a year on just an advertisement. I just want to say there is new...
you are resorting to whataboutery. I do understand there are other issues which we will raise on another occasion. This is an issue about multiple MLA pensions. Let me bring in Major General Anil Verma. Major General Verma, how is this justifiable? We always get into this whataboutery when one issue is raised. A simple question I'm asking is, on account of taxpayers' money, to pay multiple pensions, why have the Netas managed to create a different rule for themselves? It's not there in any other service.
Yeah, exactly, Afrida. Just give me a little time. I'll not get into various political parties' issues, but make certain common conceptual points. First is, I agree, there is a need to have a committee at the national, like if you have a pay commission for government servants, which reviews the thing after every 5 years. Why are there different set of rules for politicians? They do form a committee for Lok Sabha, like they appoint a committee of 5 members from Rajya Sabha, 10 from Lok Sabha, and then they review the thing every 10 years. But there are too many lacunae in this. First objection is that why should a person get a pension if he has been an MLA or MP even for 1 day? When for any other person in the country, if you are a service person, you have to serve for an X number of years to be entitled to pension. So there are different actually, the political parties don't have any, rules which regulate their functioning. So, and every different state has their own rules. So now I'll just give you a few facts. For example, even when this thing was announced by the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab, in the media, there was a report that one 10-time MLA was getting rupees 6.62 lakhs per month. Now they have fixed 75,000 rupees per month. There are only 20 states. There are 20 states which are giving more pension to the MLAs than to the MPs. There are 8 states which have an upper limit for the MLA's pension. Gujarat is the only state which gives no pension to MLAs. There MLAs and MPs net worth is not taken into consideration by any political parties. Today, 88% of the MPs are crorpatis. And if I were to give you an example of the recently held 5 states elections, I think 80 to 90% of the MLAs who have won and become MLAs now are crorpatis. So if there is a guy who's got assets of thousands of crores, he is also getting the pension. I'm not saying that it is not required. It is required, definitely. But there has to be a streamlined procedure. There has to be a committee at the national level which should decide, just like the pay commission is there. I am also aware of the fact that this issue had come up before the Allahabad High Court, and then disallowed the petition, whoever had done it, and then it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court also refused to change anything. So, but the current system which is going on definitely needs to be, improved upon. There are only 4 states in our country. I'll just finish.
Sure.
4 states in the countries which have laid down a minimum criteria for eligibility of pension, like from 1 year to 5 years. That is still reasonable. Okay, if you are for 5 years, you are MLA or MP, okay, then you are entitled to. So I'm just saying this whole thing needs to be reviewed. It does keep coming up from time to time, but it is carrying on as it is. They form a committee, they do the voting in the state assembly, they pass the amount, and that's the end of it.
Yes, no real change happens. Mr. Gupta, fact of the matter is that, this is like you heard Mr. Verma there say that this is a policy, there's a policy change that is required, and all these committees that will continue reviewing will give their inputs, but it requires intent. And I come back to the point of intent because you very proudly said 80% of the states are with the BJP. So it is clearly not just about Haryana. It's about making a rule across board and showing that intent. And it can be done with one signature, perhaps, on one day.
Actually, we will also create a committee on this, and this is all procedure will go on. When the matter comes to us, the matter will be given to the Law Commission. Law Commission prepares a report, and a lot of work is to be done. But there are more major issues which are to be tackled nowadays, because after this COVID and this pandemic, there is a situation where country is going through such a major issues, and now tackling this issue is a good issue. And they have also given me a good instructions and good guidelines regarding this, and we will also discuss this with our senior leaders. If something good can happen, then it will definitely happen. It will definitely be good for our country. Our intent is always there.
The problem is why we are questioning Haryana, Mr. Gupta, is that we have heard statements from your leadership saying for COVID pension, for COVID compensation, funds are not enough. For old age pension, funds are not enough. There isn't enough money in the public exchequer for these issues. Has your state managed to compensate the COVID victims? We've raised it a number of times. That is why the problem is. And even the farmers have raised issues on how the procurement is not happening as per MSP. The state हाथ खड़े कर देते हैं budget constraints. तो इसमें ये fund क्यों नहीं वहाँ use हो सकता है? 30 crore is the quantum you are spending on MLA pensions.
We have been providing the food to 80 crore people in India. This is from Pradhan Mantri Yojana, Garib Kalyan Yojana, and we are providing best facilities during the COVID, and the BJP-led government has done a maximum vaccination. This all huge funds were required for that, and the huge funds is spent on those type of, and nowadays infrastructure is developing day by day. Roads are developing, NHAI is developing. Now everywhere you are seeing the development phase is there. This is a very small amount. Our issue will definitely be discussed. If some issue comes, we will definitely discuss it, and the party will make a decision, and the government will definitely make some good decision on this. Although the people money should be used for the public, and all the time BJP is just on this policy only to make a development of a country and development of the country all over the country.
This is a clear case of misuse of public funds. Let's admit it. Mr. Marathi, you were going to say something. Please address the issue, the general issue of this entitlement culture. It's not about just one issue. Every party is accused now of misuse of public funds for one reason or the other. Your party is accused for using public funds for party propaganda in Delhi. And also answer the question, what about the MLAs in Delhi? Will they also have to follow the same rule of one MLA, one pension?
Afrida, first of all, I wanted to clarify this, that Delhi MLAs only get one pension and Delhi MLAs have the lowest salary in the entire country. So we do what we say, we practice what we preach. We have already done it in Punjab. We will do it in Haryana after the 2024 elections are over also. Number two, the BJP spokesperson keeps saying that, oh, we have given food to people, oh, we have given vaccines to people. That was your constitutional duty. By giving food to the people of India, you think you have done a big favor. That is a job of the government. What we are questioning today is not what food you have given. We are questioning why you are using our money, people's money to pocket, to fill your own pockets. That is the question that you should be answering today. I'm actually really surprised that all the BJP leadership is coming together and saying that, no, we will not stop using people's money to fill our own pockets. We will continue doing so just because it's 30 crore rupees. 30 crore rupees may be a small amount for you, Mr. Gupta. 30 crore rupees is a big sum of money for the people of India.
It is not a question of me. It is a question of whole state.
For developing the country, you use it for creating jobs, you use it for giving pensions. That I can understand.
Percentage of budget.
Why you continue to defend the BJP on this issue is something that I just don't understand.
No, you are trying to defend the indefensible, Mr. Sanket Verma. In all humility, you should accept that there should be a rethink and there should be an immediate decision to scrap this multiple pension. And I would like to end with what Major General Anil Verma said. Why even 1 day of pension is required? No other services. You have to serve a certain number of years to actually qualify for a pension. Here, for multiple terms, multiple pension, nothing more absurd than that. This is something that should be looked into immediately. I've completely run out of time. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Major General Anil Verma, Sanket Gupta and Akshay Marathe for joining us this evening. Well, let's take a very short break here. News and updates continue on the other side. Stay with Mirror now.